Hi, AP Stats. We're going to quick go through how to create a residual plot. Though I really don't believe this is something you'd be asked to do on the AP exam, and it's not something you'll be asked to do in a test or a quiz, maybe on the homework. It just kind of helps remind us what a residual plot is. So this is not data about CRVs. That was the old problem. So this was the data that shows the attendance percentages and star test scores for the 11 Texas students. So this is that same example. If we want to create a residual plot, we need to start by entering our data into list 1 and list 2. And often percent attendance, which is our X variable, usually we put that in list 1, and our algebra score, that was our Y, that would be list 2. So if you want to pause the video right now and do that so you can follow along with your graphing calculator, great. Otherwise, I have it completed in my graphing calculator right here. So if we want to create a residual plot, we also need the residuals, which means I don't just need my list 2, which is the Y values, I need the predicted values. So we are going to make list 3 the predicted values. I'm going to do this by going over to list 3 and scrolling up. So I've got list 3 highlighted, and I'm going to tell the calculator that it should be the equation of our least squares regression line. So in this case, it was, okay, the bell just rang, sorry, negative 7.69 plus 0.57x, but instead of x, we want it to plug in the values from list 1. So I'm going to go second L1, and this is going to basically pull each x value, plug it into this equation, and get a residual. I'm going to click enter, and if we notice, I'm seeing, it doesn't look right. Sorry, if we notice, these are not our residuals. List 3 right now is our predicted Y values. So what we just did, we defined list 3 as our predicted Y values. Our Y hats is our list 3. And we used Y hat, list 3 is equal to negative 7.69 plus 0.57 times list 1, which was our X. Okay, so now we have, in list 1, we have our X's. In list 2, we have our Y's. In list 3, we have our Y hats. If we want our residuals, which is equal to what actually happened minus our predicted, I'm going to take list 2, which is where we have our Y's, minus list 3, which is where we have our predicted values, and that I'm going to make list 4. So I scroll over to list 4, I scroll up. This now is going to be my residuals. So I am going to have observed list 2 minus predicted list 3. I'm going to click enter, and here are all my residuals. Notice we have a bunch of positive values, we have a bunch of negative values, we have values that are kind of bigger and smaller. That's good to see, right? We want a equal distribution above and below. So now that we have our residuals in list 4, we are going to actually create our scatter plot. So we go to our stat plot, and we are going to turn one of our stat plots on. I want it to be a scatter plot. If I just do list 1 and list 2, and then I go zoom 9, notice this is the scatter plot. This is not the residual plot, but the scatter plot. We don't want that. So I'm going to go back to my stat plot, and I'm going to keep it on, and instead of list 2, which is our actual Y values, I'm going to plot list 4. So list 1, the X values against the residuals. Now if I go zoom 9, I see a residual plot. Notice it's the same thing that we were seeing before, but it's horizontal. These are our x values, and the y-axis is our residuals. Now, is it a perfect residual plot? Not really, because we notice that there's kind of spacing here, but overall, it's a fairly equal scatter above and below. We can be kind of confident in our least squares regression line. So I'm going to drag that in here just for us to have. But like I said, I don't really expect this to be something that you will do on the actual AP exam, but it kind of helps us understand what a residual plot is. Have a good rest of your day and let me know if you have questions.